Hello everyone, Shirley here, and today we have something extremely exciting to look at. This is the new warrior talent tree from the Dragonflight Alpha. This came out, I want to say, Tuesday night late. I didn't get a chance to look at it yesterday though, and instead of spoiling things, I wanted to share my first impressions with everybody. So I have not seen anything on this yet, so this is all going to be new to me. And today I thought I would go over everything and give some initial impressions, thoughts, maybe a few builds or something. And of course, we're going to be starting with the Arms talent tree, and the Warrior one, of course. And then I'll take a look at Fury and Prot afterwards. Hopefully this doesn't drag on too long, but you know me, I like to get nitty-gritty with things. So starting right off, we're going to look at the basic talent tree for Warrior and see what's coming back. I heard about this already. From some of the people I was playing with, but stances are back. Oh boy, we got Battle Stance, D-Stance, Berserker Stance. 3-second cooldowns, that's been lowered from 6. That is, I love to see it. Increases critical strike chance by 3% or reduces the effectiveness of movement pairing effects by 15%. That sounds amazing and better in every way than what it is now. Reduces all damage by 20%, and you deal 10... I mean, that's what it is right now. I wonder if that's going to apply the same way in PvP, or if it's going to be nerfed still like it is on live. And Berserker Stance, man, we haven't had this in so long. Let's see, increases the damage of your auto attacks by 5%, and reduces the effectiveness of Fear, Sap, and Incap by 15%. That is such a weird choice. Because back in the day, Berserker Stance gave crit like the new Battle Stance is. Huh. Auto attacks, I guess, is good for Fury. And the Fear, Sap, and Incap just seems kind of moot to me because we have Berserker Rage. But moving down from Battle Stance here, movement speed increased by 5%. That's pretty nice. Rallying Cry, of course, back down to 15% for everybody for 10 seconds on a 3-minute CD. Duration, health, and granted are okay. That I was wondering about that because it used to be 20% all the time, so this is going to buff that up and make it what it was. Off the Prot tree here, we got choose one, Intervene or Second Wind. That's wow, that's an interesting choice. Second Wind and Intervene. Well, I guess I mean you would take Intervene all the time at for PvP and high rated stuff, but Second Wind being for raids and stuff, just having that passively all the time, that'd be pretty nice, if you end up even taking this path. Berserker Rage for everybody, of course, still on a 1-minute CD, which should be back to 30 seconds. Leech by 5%, that's nice. And moving down from battle there, Double Time. Okay, so Double Time's there, inspiring. Spell Reflect. I mean, we gotta have Spell Reflect, so I guess you could branch off of one of these two and grab that. Berserker Shout. Fear. Okay, I read a blue post on this one. Apparently, Berserker Shout replaces Berserker Rage and applies to your party members within 15 yards, so this is gonna be amazing utility, depending on if there's some random fear in a dungeon or a raid fight, but especially in Arena, being able to, yell and just get your teammates out of a sap or a fear. That's really good. Heroic Leap coming back on a 45-second cooldown. Protection resets the remaining cooldown on Taunt. Interesting. Let's move on to battle. The cooldown of Pummel, Shield Slam, Overpower, and Bloodthirst reduced by 1.5 seconds. That's including, I mean, the Pummel thing is nice, but that's including Overpower and Bloodthirst. Makes me wonder what the base cooldown on those two abilities are going to be. Because, okay, so we have it over here. Just real quick, I wanted to see it. 12 seconds, so we get a 1.5 seconds off that. That's useful, I suppose. Stormbolt's making its return, 4 seconds still, 30-second CD, and Titanic Throw. Interesting. Throws your weapon at the enemy, causing attack power. Okay, so I bet that replaces Heroic Throw. It's just like an AoE taunt. You would never take that over Stormbolt unless you were tanking, I would imagine. Intimidating Shout is back. Doesn't look like it's been changed any. Impending Victory makes its return on a 25-second CD. Still 40% heal, so that's pretty nice. And Piercing Howl. Sharing that node. Well, sucks that you don't have Piercing Howl by default, but getting Impending Victory all the time if, you know, you take the build for it. Would be nice. And Furious Blows. Damage of Bloodthirst, Slam, Shield Slam, and Whirlwind increased by 10%. It's nice. Just a flat stat allocation. Moving on, Massacre. Oh, okay. It's just old school Massacre for arms, 35%. Choose one. Rend, Pain, and... Okay, let's go over this. Rend, 15 seconds. So it's just a bleed, doesn't increase crit damage anymore. Pain and Gain. Heal, only occur... That's weird. That's that conduit that we have right now. I can't remember what it's called that just passively heals you. I wonder... I mean, you wouldn't ever take that over Rend, I wouldn't think, unless Rend ends up being a DPS loss, because it's just not even worth the rage to press the button, but I don't see him doing that, so interesting choices there, I guess. I don't think you would take Pain and Gain very often, even in PvP. Thunderclap. So everybody can pick up Thunderclap now. That's cool. Or get it back again. Movement speed by 20%. And doesn't look like it puts a bleed on anything unless it's tied into mastery or something. 5 targets. Intimidating Shout can withstand 200% more damage. This is just so bad. It's a conduit right now. They just need to change this talent immediately. I don't like that. War Machine's back. 50% more rage on auto attacks. Right, that doesn't look changed unless the auto attack generation is slightly higher. I don't remember it being 50%. Maybe it is on live right now. I can't remember off the top of my head. Shattering Throw. 45... Okay, 45-second cooldown. Interesting. Ignoring armor deals... Doesn't say that it breaks immunities anymore, though. Interesting. So maybe it's just used for popping bubbles. Like absorption bubbles. Or Bounding Stride, of course. So, I mean, you take Bounding Stride most of the time, if that's the case. But I hope that Shatter still breaks immunities. I don't know why they would have such a low cooldown on it, though, so that kind of concerns me a bit. Anyway, Seismic Reverberation. Oh, that's the legendary. That's nice. Hits them one additional time. You hit things. So we can build like a whirlwind build with these 2 talents. That's pretty cool. Rid of the Teeth. Gain 10%. Oh, well, that's awesome. We just get flat out more strength for nothing. Blood and Thunder. Increases the damage of Thunderclap. Affected by a rend. Oh, okay. So you can multi-rend with Thunderclap. That'd be great for tanking and padding the DPS meters. We like that. And Crackling Thunder. The radius increase, movement speed, reduce it by... So it'd be 30% slow. Not that great. I feel like Blood and Thunder is just way better in basically every situation right there. Crushing Force, Shield Slam, and Slam increased by 25%, just 1 point. Hopefully Slam doesn't hit like a wet noodle again, so, well, you know, we'll see, I guess. Overwhelming Rage. Oh, we just get 30 more Rage. That was tied into one of our talents right now. God, Deadly Calm, I want to say. Down here, Die by the Sword is available to every warrior spec on a 2-minute CD, so it's not quite as low as it was on Shadowlands with conduits, but 2 minutes, thank God it's not 3 minutes again. It doesn't seem like it's been changed any. Choose one, one-handed weapon spec or Dauntless Duelist. So passive Leech if you're playing Protection or Single-Minded Fury, or Dauntless Duelist, the Venthyr conduit thing is coming back for warrior. That's odd, but I'll take it, I guess. 3% more damage. Kind of boring, but I'll take it. Frothing Berserker. Oh. Requires Warrior Fury. Okay, I wonder if this tooltip is updated since it's in the basic warrior tree. It would imply that everybody could get that, so an arms warrior could get that. That might be pretty good. Moving down, Cruel Strikes. 2 ranks in that, so I'd assume 4% crit chance just passively. That's, you know, great. Hopefully crit ends up being good again. Or it is right now, I just mean continues to be good. Increases armor by 30% of your strength. That's weird. I wonder if that stacks with this. Like if you get some synergy off that, or if the strength gain ignores the armor received from reinforced plates. Because if it doesn't, I mean, that just seems like a no-brainer that you would take both of these and get a huge strength bonus for just wearing gear. we'll have to wait and see on that one. Unfortunately, I don't have access to the alpha yet, so I can't test any of this myself. Stamina by 5%, 2 ranks in that. I mean, yeah, we're kind of squishy, so that's good. Oh, we got haste over here. So we got crit on one side, haste on the other. I'd imagine this is, you know, like the arm side, and this is the fury side is what it's looking like at the moment. And moving on, we have two-handed weapon spec by 5. That's probably a percent, and the tooltip's just not updated yet, but I would imagine 2 ranks, that'd be 10%. Spear of Bastion making its return for everyone again. I don't know how I feel about Spear coming back for just a permanent warrior ability. I mean, it's great. It's really good. Can't argue with that, but it's, it doesn't thematically fit too much. I don't know. I like the spell, I suppose. They're going to need to change how it looks, I guess, so it doesn't look so bastion-y. Moving on, we have Avatar coming back. Doesn't look like it's been changed any. Bitter Immunity. 3-minute CD. Restores 20% health instantly and removes all disease, poison, curse, and bleed effects affecting you. That's Kyrian Potion, but on a 3-minute CD for every warrior. That's pretty cool. I like that. A little bit of survivability to add on to Dab at the Sword and Second Wind and Impending Victory. And hell, you could even take that Pain and Gain talent. You could build to be pretty tanky, actually, for PvP if you wanted. Shockwave is available for everyone. Awesome. Still only a 2-second stun, though. A little bit disappointing, but, you know, I'll take another stun, especially Shockwave. Thunderous Roar? That looks like Dragon Roar. Oh, they renamed it because of the track they're coming out, didn't they? 45-second CD. Okay, so it's a little bit different. Still a big burst, but it causes a bleed over 9 seconds. Oh, wait, no, this isn't Dragon Roar. This is that new spell. It's in a cone, 16 yards, attack power, and that's a 9-second bleed on a 45-second CD that every warrior can pick up. Okay. I hope that looks so cool. I really hope it looks cool. Just yelling at things to make them bleed. And then we have dual-wield specs. This has got to be for Fury only, I would imagine. Probably 10% increase on 2 ranks on that. And the capstones. What do we got? Scroll down here. Elysian Might and Piercing Verdict. Spear Bastions. Okay, so that's our legendary for the top one. And Spear of Bastion, instant damage, 30%. So the Conduit and the legendary. I don't see how Piercing Verdict stacks up to the legendary in the long run. I feel like that's going to need some balancing for sure. Otherwise, Elysian Might just, you know, is going to be the go-to for that. Next one, Signet of Tormented Kings makes its return. So you would have to pick up Avatar, of course, to get use out of this. I would imagine Bladestorm's... Okay, maybe Bladestorm's not a guaranteed. Interesting. Wreck activates there too, or Unstoppable Force. Avatar increases the damage of Thunderclap by 50%. Okay, so that's the other thing that's been in the game. Not very useful for DPS, but Signet coming back with Spear of Bastion. There's the combo already there. It's pretty nice, I guess. Rumbling Earth strikes at least 3 targets. Okay, so that's the built-in thing it used to have to reduce the CD. Yeah, that's good. Thunderous Aftershocks. Work in progress. Thunderous Roar. Knocks enemies down and causes 2 aftershocks that deal 50% of attack power damage, and each aftershock generates 2 additional rage per target hit. So that's 50%, and it hits for 50% already, so that's basically tripling the damage other than the bleed. And it knocks them down. Well, I imagine it's like old school throwdown, where it's like a half a second stun. Not actually throwdown, but the same animation for it. That'll be fun. Interestingly enough, you can't connect these off of these bottom ones here, only the inner ones. Moving on to the arms tree. This video is going to be like 2 hours long if I actually make a proper build out of this stuff. Mortal Strike, of course, returning. Doesn't appear to be changed. Still costs 30 rage. Overpower, 1 charge, 12-second CD. Cannot be parried still. Increases the damage net from Mortal Strike or Cleave by 20% stacking one. Okay, so it affects Cleave still, or again. I guess it does right now. It's just you don't use Cleave that often. Moving down, damage of Slam and Whirlwind increased by 25%, so that'll stack with this one. So we get 25 for 50% on slam, and then we can grab these two for the whirlwind buff. That's pretty nice. We got tactician, and of course you're gonna take that. Improved execute, of course you're gonna take that. Fervor of battle's coming back. Oh boy, I don't like this talent. Looks like you can skip it though. I mean, it's useful in like Mythic Plus, so you know, especially if you had Signet and stuff. We'll see. Fueled by violence. That's that conduit. So, I mean, it's whatever. It's another thing that heals us, though. We get stack. Martial prowess. Overpower, increase the damage. Okay, so that just makes it stack twice. Sudden death coming back. That's nice. Concussive blows. Cooldown of pummel reduced again. And we get... Oh, it's the glyph we used to have. We get the 5% bonus damage for 10 seconds if we kick something. So if we get both of those talents, that'll reduce it by 3 seconds. So we'll get it down to like a 9-second cooldown, I would imagine, on pummel. That'd be pretty nice. Mortal Strike has a 15% chance to instantly erase. Nice. So we get the mortal combo built into the spec now. I like that. Oh my. Impale is coming back. That is exciting. So we get 20% bonus crit damage. Hell yeah. I love Impale from Classic. Sweeping Strikes, of course, coming back. Doesn't appear changed except for the CD, unless that's lowered later. And Colossus Smash. Still in that weird minute-and-a-half cooldown. That's probably lowered as well. Doesn't appear changed. Skull Splitter coming back. Rain of Fire. Skull Splitter causes your deep wounds and Rend to expire 200% faster. That's got to be something else down here. Don't really care for Skull Splitter as a spell in and of itself. It just seems kind of, I don't know, it was never very inspired. However, that talent that makes your bleeds take out 200% faster, that's pretty cool. Because you could combo that with the Thunderclap thing that spreads Rend on everything, and depending on if Rend actually does decent damage, and if you can spread Deep Wounds with like Bladestorm on a ton of targets and then Skull Splitter, oh, that would only hit one thing though. Unless, I suppose you could Sweeping Strikes it onto 2, but well, it'd be good for Cleave, I guess. It's an interesting talent at least. Overpower, damage increase, Deadly Calm coming back, just reduces the rage cost. This, you know, that's cool. I wonder if we'll actually take it this time around. Exploit the weakness. Okay, so it's just better tactician, kind of boring, or punishment. Ah, Condemn is back. Very cool. So we get Condemn, and I wonder, where was it at? Massacre's over here for everybody. So I would imagine the punishment would work with Massacre still. Of course it would, it's just above the 80% threshold. I really hope it has Condemn's animation, which seems kind of hypocritical that I want Spirit Bastion to change, but Condemn just looks too cool. Or at least they keep the animation, maybe just change the color of it, I suppose. Improved Sweeping Strikes, last 2 seconds longer, so that puts it up to 14 seconds, not 15. That's kind of odd that they would knock 1 second off of it. And Collateral Damage is coming back in its current form. I really don't like this version of Collateral Damage. I wish it would go back to BFAs or something else entirely. It's just very niche and kind of clunky to use. And you have to take that over Improved Sweeping Strikes. I don't like that. Wow, there's... Oh, okay, it's just 2. In for the kill. Increase your haste by 10% or 20% if target's below. So, in for the kill's back, and Test of Might is back. Oh boy. Strength is increased by 1% for every 10 rage you spend during CS last 12 seconds. The Azerite power, I really don't like this. I hope that somehow In for the Kill ends up being better. I doubt it will. Test of Might is just really good. I just really don't like the Azerite power because of the way it makes you play the class. It kind of breaks the spec, its flow with overpower, and the way it's supposed to work during the CS window, with a lot of gear, I should say. When you have a ton of gear and haste, you get flooded with rage, and it just evolves into spamming Whirlwind with Fervor of Battle to get as big of a buff after CS as you possibly can. And maybe it won't be that way because we don't have corruption and, you know, you won't be running around with 100% haste. So maybe I'm I'm getting too doomsay about it before it's even come out, but I just don't like Test of Might, especially by like the end of the expansion. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe it won't be that big of a deal, but whatever. Proving Moral Strike, so just a buff to Moral Strike here. Cleave, come back as a talent. I wonder if they changed this. Puts deep wounds. Nope. Seems the same as it is on live. I mean, if we can get that with some other things for AoE, it might be actually worth taking. Moving back. Fracture. When Skull Splitter damages an opponent, it causes your deep wounds and rends. Okay, so that was that thing that was built into it. Bloodborne. Damage of deep wounds, rend, and thunderous roars bleed effects increase by 15%. That's cool. So we can just be a big bleed build and take AoE bleed stuff. Because we get, with Cleave, the rend talent, and deep wounds being built into Colossus Smash, I would imagine Warbreaker. It's down here, I see. So that reduces the... I would imagine it's still tied to our Mastery, so we could put a ton of AoE bleeds out on a lot of things, which is pretty cool. And this... Damaged opponent... It doesn't say that it makes it tick out faster on the target. It just says it makes it tick faster. I wonder if that affects every single target that's bleeding. Because that would be really good if it does. We'll have to wait and see on that one. And also, if you can, like, ignite it, quote-unquote, by, like, restacking a bleed. I don't know how that's going to work. I have to play around with that when I can. Dreadnought's back, which is cool. So I like that Dreadnought's back, but it also kind of ties into Test of Might being kind of wonky with it. Hopefully it's good again. I like the spell. Blood Surge. So bleeds give us 5 rage on a 25% proc chance. I wonder if that's independent or if it's just ICD locked per all your bleeds, or if you could get 15 rage for all 3 bleeds if you had them up at the same time. Could be pretty good. Storm of Swords. Whirlwind costs 50% more rage and has a 10-second cooldown, but now deals 200% more damage. That is awesome. Oh, I like that a lot. I hope that ends up being good. That's like classic Whirlwind that just has a cooldown and it hits really hard. So I hope that ends up being meta, and we can stack that with the Seismic Reverberation and the Whirlwind buff, and maybe even Fervor of Battle. That's cool. I like that spell. Juggernaut makes its return. Damage execute, so it's not crit chance, it's damage of execute. Stacking up to 20 times, 3%. Okay. So it's still just an 8-second window. I really wish they would increase that window to at least 10 seconds, because it can get really finicky to keep up your stacks with Juggernaut. But this is in the Arms tree. It's not in the Fury tree. Very interesting. Very interesting. So Arm's gonna get the execute stuff again. Anger Management makes its return. Seems that maybe it's for every spec. We'll have to wait and see on that. Warbreaker, Bladestorm, CS by 1 second. So that doesn't appear changed at all. Reaping Swings, cooldown of Cleave reduced by 2 seconds, so knock it down to a 4-second cooldown. Depending on how hard Cleave hits, that could be good, but you can't ignite deep wounds currently, so we'll wait and see on that one. I don't imagine it'd be better than Anger Management in the long run. Moving on, Deft Experience, so we just get some passive Mastery, passive Verse, passive Crit. It says requires Warrior Fury. I wonder if these are somebody are placeholder or something. But if we get 4% crit off both ends of that, that's pretty nice. 8% passive crit for nothing to pair with Impale, which is awesome. So crit probably going to be pretty important again for Arms Warriors. Hopefully we get some big hits out of it, especially with Juggernaut. I like that. Battle Lord overpowers a 40% chance to reset the cooldown or reduce. So this is our legendary currently. This is really good that we can get this built in. I like that. Bloodletting. Bleed effects last 6 seconds longer. Very cool. I would imagine that would still increase the damage of them by, relatively 6 seconds. So the Skull Splitter talent Fracture would just be even better. So you could build like a Feral Druid almost with just a ton of bleeds. Bladestorm. 1.5 minute cooldown. Send them by 50%. Damage over 8 seconds. doesn't appear changed. I assume that Deep Wounds is still getting applied by the same things. Warbreaker makes its return, of course. Doesn't appear changed. Replaces CS. 45-second cooldown. I wonder if you have to take Warbreaker if you want it to be a 45-second cooldown. That's really weird. Versus a minute and a half. I don't like that it's a minute and a half cooldown. For what it does, the 10 seconds, it just seems kind of finicky. Or if there's some kind of placeholder thing going on there and it's still 45 seconds. Because this might be like a wrong tooltip off live because there's like a passive talent that reduces it. We'll have to wait and see on that one. Skull Banner makes its return on a 3-minute CD. Increases critical strike damage by 20% for party members within 20 yards last 10 seconds. So that's not really different than what it used to be. Maybe it was for the raid back in the day, but party members by 20%. So if you can somehow get both, you could get Skull Banner and Impale and a ton of crit chance and Juggernaut stacks and just absolutely dumpster somebody with an Execute. And pick up Avatar, of course, and Spear, maybe. That'll be fun. Plenty of build potential I'm already concocting in my head here. Alright, let's go with the Capstone's Arms. Fatality. Your Mortal Strike abilities against enemies above 30% have a high chance to apply Fatality when an enemy falls below 30% health. Your next Execute inflicts additional 100% of attack power physical damage per stack. Oh boy. First question is, how high does it stack? I mean, if it's only like 2 stacks, then, I mean, it's good, but if it only hits once, above 30%, so on like a raid boss, you're only going to get 1 fatality. I wonder how good that'll actually end up being. But on a long fight, you're casting a lot of Mortal Strikes, and you could pair that at that 30% threshold with Massacre. Okay, I wonder if it'd be better to not take Massacre, because then you couldn't execute until 20, but then again, you have sudden death probably. So you'd hit it at around 30 anyway. I wonder how high that stacks, especially with Juggernaut. But, well, no, because Juggernaut wouldn't really be stacked up by that point. Oh, man. I want to know. I want to know. That could be obscene if you can just hit like a 1,000,000 damage execute. Unhinged. Okay. 2 more. That doesn't look changed at all. It's just built into the spec. I like it. I assume you could still cleave it with sweeping strikes, which would be fun. Choose one. Sharpened blades or blunt instruments. Oh my god, weapon specializations are back. Your critical damage is increased by 20%, and your execute has a 10% increased crit chance. What? While using maces or polearms, the damage and duration of CS is increased by 30%. So you get, what, 3 seconds extra? There's no way that goes live like that. Sharpened blades is clearly better. You just get 20% permanent crit damage and execute crit chance? That's absurd. There's no way it goes live like that. Very interesting, though, that those 2 talents even exist in the first place, considering you don't have control over what the raid drops, or at least we don't think anyway. That'll dictate which one you end up actually using, given a current tier. Obviously, in PvP, you could do it yourself. If that ends up going live extremely unbalanced, then you could just, use like a PvP weapon for the crit damage, which would be weird, but I don't see that happening. Moving on. Merciless Bone Grinder makes its return. That's pretty cool, I guess. It's good talent, so we could stack that. Oh boy, oh boy. If we get Merciless Bone Grinder, and we take Storm of Swords, and we take Furious Blows and Seismic Reverberations, and even Fervor of Battle, we could have the juiciest Whirlwind at the end of our Bladestorm. I wonder if that, because Merciless Bone Grinder on live does so much damage right now, because you can spam it. So I wonder if Storm of Swords will actually end up being worth it or not, because you can only get 1 Whirlwind out of this window, because it's, 9 seconds. Unless there's some thing that comes up that'll lower the cooldown on Whirlwind, but I don't think that's going to happen. I wonder if that'll be worth it. Either way, though, it'll be really fun in PvP if that's not nerfed and you can just Whirlwind a whole team for, like a third of their health or something. That'd be cool. And Warbreaker coming back. Oh, right, looking at capstones. Exploiter. Execute causes the target take 50% more damage for next MS. So this is the Azurite power turned legendary coming back again. That makes Mortal Strike feel better to actually press during the execute phase. It's good. We'll have to wait and see which one of these all maths out in the long run for rating. Interestingly enough, now that we're into the arms tree, I do not see the Enduring Blow legendary that we're using right now that makes Colossus Smash proc off Mortal Strike, which is okay, but it just means that Warbreaker and CS is going to be much more limited again, and you'll have to rely on anger management if you want to reset the cooldown on that faster. Unless, obviously, all this stuff is subject to change, so we'll have to wait and see in the long run. Anyway, that took, looking at the clock, way longer than anticipated, so I think I'm going to cut it there on the Arms and Warrior talent tree, and we'll talk about the Fury and Prot tree in another video if I can. So if you happen to make it this far, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.